This is the life that we chose.
We are officially in.
We're live.
We are live.
Fully connected. The time has come, Kim.
Yes.
The time has come. A lot of people, who are listening right now, they don't know the process it took for us to get here. But I am so excited.
I'm uberly excited right now. I am, and I don't use that word often.
Yeah, I know you don't. I don't know many people
find a joyous word to like spew out. Yeah.
Uberly it sounds joyous, and I'm happy too, because it's like I feel like this is anybody who's listening to our voices right now are probably saying to themselves like, I'm surprised it took this long to hear a podcast from these
the two of you. Yeah.
It's probably
for sure.
It's been a long time, but the time has come.
It has come. We are here.
The time has come, beautiful people.
This is the first episode, and I would like to say we are not doing bad for the first episode.
No. This is a different zero.
A different zero, not the same zero.
Yeah, we're not doing bad for the first episode, but like we're super excited to have you guys on here. My name is Queen of Bergen, if you don't know who I am.
And I am Chemistry.
Yeah, and we've been friends for a mighty long time. Creating a lot of content together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like we've always had these conversations amongst each other.
Yeah, this is literally like a regular day for us.
Yeah. On
screen.
Exactly.
Like that's just what it is. Like
yeah. So. But we have been through so much on our creative journey, that it feels like even as we like have conversations with other people, we're like, yo, there's something we can like help. There's something we can say. There's a story to be had here.
Yeah. You walk away from one of the conversations, especially with you, we call them the Queen of Convos.
Yes. Yeah.
You walk away from a conversation feeling inspired and different and new about yourself.
and that's exactly what we want to do. So that's why we decided that we would press record and have this podcast, right? Because we're just saying to ourselves like, yo, we want to share our story.
Yes.
But then also the fact that number one, we can inspire other people and ourselves in the process
through our stories. Yeah. And I feel in a lot of ways like we're very connected to each other and each other's journeys and just the process of it all. Like there's a lot to be learned from the growth of everyone's journey. And so I think that with all that we've put ourselves into, like the plethora of things, I think that there's a lot to be shared that people can learn from and be inspired by.
Yeah. I hope you guys are excited as we are, because we're trying to lay the foundation. We're simply trying to lay the groundwork for what is ahead for you.
Oh, 100%.
So we want to personally thank anybody who's listening to this podcast right now, whether it is on YouTube or on audio form.
Yeah.
Right. Thank
Spotify,
you so much.
Whatever.
Please follow, subscribe, do whatever needs to be done, because this is our first one. So we're excited to share this with you.
Yes.
But Kim, I feel like you've been gone for a while.
Who, me?
Yeah, like
absent from where? Absent from everything, huh?
Yeah.
No, it's been a little bit of a journey. I think that when we talk about stepping away, a lot of times we're referring to social media. The detox. There's this this world that we share with people, and majority of that lives on social media. I may see you every day, but the average friend or somebody that may be in my network, I'm seeing them more on social media than I am in person. And so that step away, that hiatus, really just lives in falling away from social, falling away from people, and getting to that space where you just need to breathe and take time for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of a
Would you call it a hiatus?
I think I would call it a hiatus. I think that I've taken some time to really step back, and I think that I did it intentionally.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're away from things and you didn't even realize it happened.
You didn't even mean to get this far down the road.
But this was an intentional step away from it all. Really center myself and try to understand, everything going on in here.
Yeah.
So are we diving right into?
I mean, that's what the episode's gonna be about. We're gonna talk about this hiatus. We're both coming from a period of time where it's like we haven't. Well.
I mean, what was a little bit of that like for you?
We're both coming from a space where it's like we haven't, I haven't been creating a ton of content, and as a content creator, that's a little bit of a jarring activity. But there's a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes. But we're gonna be talking about the hiatus. That's what this episode is about. about taking that time away, whether intentionally or unintentionally, or, you know, honestly, it'll happen whether you expect it or not. So
That's
either
very
you're going to
true.
choose to do it, or life is going to humble you in that way.
That's very
But that's exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about that time period, you know, of getting away. So like, for your hiatus, like, you know, what do you, if you were to go back, where do you feel like was like that first turn where it was like something's changing?
So if we're going into the turn, we're gonna get right before that turn. So I think that, you know, we're gonna talk about top of 2022.
Okay.
Setting the scene. You know, I had just gotten like my highest client in the world of, you know, filmmaking and digital marketing and things of that nature.
So you was on top.
Yeah. Oh, this was the best for me. Like it was like, oh, highest paid job ever, highest paid job as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So like it felt like cloud nine as far as like the things that I was doing with my life. I felt like I was moving in purpose. You know?
And how long had you had your business up until that point though?
Probably about 2 years.
2 years.
But we're dancing you know, between a lot of things, you know, COVID-19 and dealing with the changes in the world. And so it's like, it's always been like this little roller coaster in terms
going
of
up and down.
in terms of like what the official business had been like in its journey. But, you know, finally settling into my big girl shoes and like,
and
know,
you got the
I got
contract.
This, I
You
got the
deal.
contract, the
Okay.
annual, you know. And so I was doing, you know, that was career-wise, that was a really good space for me. And then simultaneously, I was planning a wedding. So
it was just an undertaking.
Yes.
You know, I was
you know.
alongside for that journey.
Oh yeah, you were right next to me.
Yeah,
for
that was
one.
an undertaking.
So I mean, in that, it was like a beautiful journey between, you know, finding love, being in love, and experiencing this. But then there was also some pressure in that. You know, dealing, you know, with organization and I mean obviously the hefty bill.
Weddings aren't cheap.
Yes, not at all.
Yeah,
Not
for anybody
even
out there,
cheap.
weddings are not cheap.
Yeah.
And I heard a lot of stress. I haven't had a wedding yet, but I heard that you know, it's a lot of stress because it's like there's a lot of elements to think about.
Yes,
There's things that you know you're thinking it's one thing where it's like, oh, you pay for this party that happened, but it's like you know, certain colors, certain whatever the case may be.
Oh yeah, and then the logistics outside of it. I mean, even we probably even put some pressure on y'all a little bit. I mean, you had like 2 jobs. Yeah, but you know, so fast forwarding through that, you know, developing this relationship with the client, going out and handling work with him, approaching the wedding, getting closer to it, and somewhere along the line, the relationship with the client starts to shift a bit, you know. And so it was I think, you know, and I don't think it was necessarily in malice, but I feel that, you know, he was shifting things that were going on in his business, and those things didn't include me. So I think, you know, for a period of time, it was just a little bit hard getting in touch with him. There was shifts going on with the
energy start changing. The payments was coming in late.
Yeah, it got a little tricky. It got a little tricky, and you know what?
It got a little dicey.
Yeah, you know what? It's a little tough to deal with the pressures of that alongside the approach of a wedding. So, you know, I think, you know, after like 2 payments passed, it was like, all right, hold on, I gotta stop working. Dog, what's going on? You know, because like I said, this was like one of the, you know, more profitable clients. So a missing check meant something. You know, so finally got in touch with him, and, you know, he cleared everything up after, you know, a couple of weeks, and then kind of just said, you know what, I want to shift gears. You know, I got a different direction I want to go. And he kind of reverted from the contract. And that's one thing that I think I'm going to keep in my mind for a future conversation, just on this podcast in general, because when I walked into this contract, I did a whole lot of making sure the client felt comfortable working with me. And that contract didn't necessarily set me up for success in in the event that something like this happens, you know, like if we're here for an annual thing, you know, if you decide
there's
4
some
months
breach,
that you want to leave, that there's some sort of compensation for the effort that I put into it. And so that's something that we're definitely going to talk about on the entrepreneurial side of things. But so he kind of there was sort of a loophole in the contract where, you know, he was able to get out of it, but it's like also I had 4 extra months of income that was now like, oh, what you gonna do? You know, so and that happened like right before the wedding. So we had like expenses and things saved up for, you know, emergency funds and stuff like that. But coming off of the honeymoon, it was immediately like, all right, no more job, no more clients, no more income, got a wife now, a mortgage, a job, like, you know, all of these things. And it was just like immediate pressure. Like, I think even like my last 2 days of the honeymoon, you could tell my wife is just like, I don't know why you want to go home. I'm like, I need to go home and figure this out. Like,
I got things to do. I got problems to solve.
We've been here for a very long time. And I definitely loved it. I enjoyed it, but there was like a lot going on in my brain. Yeah, you know, I wanted to make sure we were good. So you know, immediately when I got home, it was like shuffling to try to figure out, all right, how are we going to get back into the game of, you know, building out this company and doing things and finding clients and all of this. But it was strange. It was like I felt like this immediate like feeling of like low confidence, imposter syndrome, or just lack of value. My worth felt gone. I'm like, I can't pull that. I don't even think I really pulled that. Like, maybe God was just, you know, like making it up, throwing it in. You got a wedding, like, you know. So
it was some stroke of luck. Yeah,
like it just like a major part of me just didn't feel like. Maybe it was smoke and mirrors. Like, maybe I didn't make that happen. So there was like a strong lack of confidence in that space, and it kept deterring me from what I wanted to, you know, do with that. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, you still got bills, things gotta get paid. We gotta take care of the house. So I was like, all right, cool. I gotta get a job. So I went back to work.
What was that like?
It was a interesting shift. It was a very interesting shift. Because one, it wasn't necessarily particularly work I wanted. It was just like,
you just had to do whatever's here.
I need something to stop pulling out of this funds, the funds that we have, you know. So doing work I don't necessarily want to do, but, you know, I need to build. You know, and then like in the midst of switching from that and dealing with this mindset of like, what's going on with my job? My mom passes away. So, and this is not going to be a heavy episode. I'm going to tell y'all that we are here to inspire.
We are here. We are here for it.
To inspire.
Yeah.
But, so I get word that my mom passes away, and I say that because, you know, if anybody knows me from here, you think of, you know, my stepmom and my dad as my parents, and that's rightfully so. You know, she's definitely been the mother figure, and she holds that title like 100%. But you know, so when my biological mother passed away, I think, you know, in a lot of ways it opened up a lot of emotions and a lot of doors that I didn't necessarily have to deal with, because you know, you being alive and you being distant, it's like you're well, I'm well, no family issues no doors have to be open.
We could just leave it could be comfortable.
You know
we could
just, we got space between us, so you know, we're in a decent spot. But I think, you know, when she passed away, it just opened a lot of doors. You know, it opened the doors of like me not inviting her to my wedding for like just reasons of like just understanding our relationship and the complications between her and my parents and things like that. So I just wanted a happy environment and to be surrounded by love, but like there was like guilt came from that, you know, and then it just opened up the relationship between, you know, myself and my brothers, just understanding what the distance was like, what it's for, and you're just opening these floodgates, you know.
And then now you have to deal with all those emotions
all at once, and try to understand what a funeral looks like and whether or not I can even be a part of it, which we won't even get into. You know, but it's layers, and I think a lot of people, you know, with, you know, distorted family dynamics can understand. They can relate.
That. And then to go from, you know, from weddings to funerals is like
bro, and So we had this space of, losing the client, being back in a job environment that doesn't necessarily suit me or doesn't really add to me understanding my value in this world, and then my mom passing and understanding my family dynamics all over again. It was just like this overwhelming, compounding list of things happening. And so my brain just went into like, all right, what do I know? 100-song challenge. We are gonna make 100 songs in a year, challenge. And we are gonna do it. And then it wasn't just that. It was like, all right, so we're gonna make 100 songs, and we're gonna learn how to produce, and we're gonna learn how to engineer, and I'm gonna do a podcast and drop it 3 days a week, and I'm gonna do behind the scenes footage. It was just like madness. I don't know who that human was, but in the same sentence, it was like, I was feeling all of these things in one space, and it was like, I need to feel something that makes me feel good. So like when you think of things like, and not necessarily like drugs or alcohol, because, we automatically kind of put those in a space of like, those are bad for you. Yeah. But like when you think of things like relationships or sex or music or, art, we have relationships with these things that can either be really good for you, or you can use them as crutches.
It could be toxic.
Yeah, it can be very toxic. And I think during that time, I was really using creativity and art and music as a form of a coping mechanism to stop myself from dealing with the feelings of, this loss in my life, like this just lost in different areas. It was like so many of the important areas felt so like damaged that it was like, all right, I need something that makes me feel good. I'm good at music. Let's do a lot of it.
I'll create more.
I will just create as much as I can until I feel good again. But like we said, those relationships become toxic because you're not really healing anything. You're just throwing mounds of band-aids on top, hoping that something so I went through a period of like constantly churning and putting this energy out, and I'm not saying that it wasn't like anything I didn't feel good about, or like
there was some bangers after 100.
Like
there was some bangers out there, you know what I mean? I think it was it was for someone, I definitely received.
So I'm like, there was definitely good energy and intention because it is naturally something that I do love, but eventually it started to feel like, all right, I'm just doing this. Like I'm just going through the motions. And I started like feeling the panic again, the anxiety attacks and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I know it's going to be hard. Of course it's hard. But like, I'm not thinking, oh, these are those feelings knocking at the door. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. So like, it got to a point where I just started to feel immediate burnout. And it was like, this is a lot. And I don't think I even noticed it really good until I was supposed to set up a show with a friend of mine and an entrepreneur as well. And we were planning out a show. It was a day I came into the location that we were going to have it. And I'm like looking around, we're talking about what we got to do and stuff like that. And I never said anything, but there was some point like mid conversation where she just looked at me and she was like, like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, she's like, I don't want you to feel like pressured. Like we're not mad at you if you decide to change. Like, it's not like, oh, you said and you promised. Like, I was just like, thank you for saying that, because I really don't think I could do this right now. It's like, I need some time. Oh my God. But I'm still like,
but someone saw you.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, it shows. Yeah. Like, this is like, there are things happening here. But so like I get away from that, and then I decide, that was the moment that I decided like, all right, I think I need to take a little bit of a break. Yeah. With the content and stuff like that. But stopping that just opened the door again. And it made me realize that, not only was I using music the wrong way, I still didn't deal with these emotions. Yeah. So fast forward, we get to a space where I'm constantly feeling these things. There's this anxiety and all of these stuff and all of these feelings, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want to feel any of this anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it was like a fight night or something. Some boxing. I don't really watch boxing, but it was like a good reason.
Yeah.
Like, all right, what y'all doing? What we getting into? All right, cool. Had some friends come over, and I just like completely pre-planned this. Like, I am going to get as messed up as I possibly can, so I don't have to feel. And like, one of those tequila nights too. Oh, it was hard.
Is that what?
Oh, it was. Oh my God. Oh my God. I could feel the tequila in my brain right now just talking about it. God. Yeah, but like, again, you know, having good relationships and bad relationships with things. Alcohol is definitely one of those things that, you know, I try to stay away from or try to have a more controlled relationship with, just because I know the effects of like what it can be if you overindulge.
Yeah.
But it was like this particular night I just didn't want to feel anything. So I wound up just getting completely blackout drunk to the point where it's like I satisfied the goal.
Yeah.
I satisfied the goal. I didn't want to feel, didn't want to remember. It wasn't there. It wasn't there at all. So I have work the next day. I wake up late. Stressed out. I'm running, I'm calling, I'm like, I'll be there in, give me 10-15 minutes. I don't know when I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
But like I run in, I get in the shower, and I'm like pissed at myself. And I'm pissed because I'm like, okay, I'm late for work. I woke up, I got a headache, my stomach hurt, and I still feel all of this shit. Like,
damn.
I still feel everything.
Yeah.
And it was just like, at that point, that was my breakdown point, where it was like, hit the ground. I'm bawling. And my wife running there. She's like, yo, what's wrong? And I'm just like, I just kept saying like, yo, I'm so sad and I don't know how to fix it. I kept saying that just over and over. And I promise y'all, this is not going to be a sad podcast. I promise you. There's some good on the other side of this. But yeah, so I mean, I just felt so like empty, like just in the chest, just like a lack of worth, lack of value. Where am I at in life? I done lost family is messed up, and just all of this stuff that I'm feeling. I can't even enjoy my music. What is going on? Like I just felt
it all just came in
empty. And it was just like, I felt like at that moment I was just pouring it all out, just letting it all out, because I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Like, I mean, you might have had cries here and there, you know, just from like, you know, the naturalness of like a loved one passing, or man, this sucks. But like,
but that real purging,
that was the start of many a purges.
I like that. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, that was many a. Yeah, all of those. That was the very first time that I really just let it all out. Got out the shower. I just wanted to like drive. I just wanted to get like
just go as far as you could away.
Yes, I did. But I'm like, I got a wife, I got a mortgage, I got to come back.
All these things that are grounding me here in reality.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna go all the way far. I'm gonna just go to New York.
Yeah.
I go to New York. I met up with a friend out there, and he kind of took me in, and we had a very strong conversation. And there's like something that he does with what his crib, that he like leaves these little post-it notes around, like just affirmations or just notes to self. And like I remember just being in his bathroom, and like one of the notes saying something like, keep going, like whatever you do, just keep going, something like along that. And it was just like, damn. Like it was the first time I was like, yo, I see why you do this.
Yeah.
I see why you do this. Sometimes you need a reminder.
You just need a reminder.
Like, yeah.
Even if it is in the form of a sticky piece of paper.
Yes.
You know?
Sometimes but you forget.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah.
So you gotta remind you sometimes. And, I'm gonna just give a quick shout out to Butterfly Haus for definitely, being there in that particular moment. But it was that I feel like, that was these series of events coming from this really high to dipping into this low of just dealing with these feelings. And ever since then, you know, it was like, all right, I need to take this time to really get to understand me again, you know, really get to this space of who am I, what is it that I want, what makes me feel valuable, what makes me feel worth it. And also finding that not just in my work, not just in my music, not just in my family, but me.
Yeah.
Like, yo, how do you make you feel good?
Yeah.
You know? And so a lot of that, you know, really just started in stepping away, you know, building up my relationship again with God and just having those personal conversations. Like, he gave us all this.
All of it.
All this, and y'all can't see it, but there's a window right here, and it's like trees and grass,
trees, rain,
oh
grass,
God, a little bit of dirt, but it's all
you know,
good.
squirrel, dirt,
the
soil.
Squirrels was out.
Soil.
The squirrels was out.
Yeah.
But he's given us so much to really just slow down in.
Yeah.
You know, it took a lot of, you know, that journaling, reading a lot of books. I got really heavy into like the books, real heavy into, you know, spaces where, you know, these things eventually were the pieces that help climb, like for me to climb out of just all of these emotions, because you got to really sit with yourself and understand, you know, that it's okay to feel, you know, down about a particular thing. When something dramatic changes in your life, it's okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, it's like
when you go through dramatic shifts in your
know?
life, it makes sense that you need to be able to recalibrate.
Yes, and I think, you know, sometimes that, you know, I feel it, you know, especially between us, you know, we're very motivated in a way where it's like, yeah, we're gonna figure it out. Like, even before we started this, y'all should have saw the MacGyver.
We figured it out.
Like, we were MacGyvering up in here, but like
solutions oriented folks
yes,
here.
Yes, it's like, yo, how do we solve the problem? And you know, I just kept like trying to solve it, and I realized that, you know, even in, you know, this space of wanting to understand and solve and fix, you know, sometimes you gotta just let broken things be broken for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, let yourself feel whatever is coming from those moments.
Yeah.
And sort of embrace it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could honestly be the solution. Could honestly be the solution, but it's like, if you're a solutions oriented person, you don't want to hear that.
You're looking for something tangible.
Yeah. It's like, you don't want that.
Yeah. But I think, you know, for me, my solution was slowing down, and a large part of slowing down meant stepping away. And so we are here 30 minutes later saying that was my hiatus. How about you?
You know what it is, though? I think that one of the greatest things that you could do for somebody, and something that I feel like I'm learning a lot more about as I get older, is that like, you should just listen.
Yes.
You know? So like, you know, I don't know how much of the conversation, you know, I feel like they should hear it all.
Oh yeah.
But like, but there's an element to this where it's like, you kind of just like, when you go through these moments in time, when you go through these hiatus or whatever case may be, like some of the greatest things you could do for somebody is to just listen to them. Yes. Without judgment and without prescription. Oh yeah. Now, because I am a solutions oriented person, I will tell you that I am learning. You know what I mean? Like, I'm learning, and I hope that this podcast is even a way for me to exercise that, because a lot of it is like, you know, a lot of people just want to be heard. Yeah. You know? Because it's like, not only do you have to hold on to your story and what you have to go through, but like, you also have to hold on to other people's. Yeah. Because other people will just like, you know, emotionally just throw their things on you. So it's like, you know, and it's where do you get to put that, you know? Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting, because that was like a thing that we talk about a lot. And then also just like understanding that we're two solution-oriented individuals. Yeah. It was interesting, like, colliding in my journey with even you, like, you know, just being in this space where it's like, she can't know I'm falling apart right now, you know. And but I will say that, like, I genuinely, you know, appreciate you as a friend in general, because there are like these moments when I do
Like I had, like when I came here, I had every intention to not tell you. I am going through something. Yo, what's up with you?
Yeah. There's no way that would have happened though. You wouldn't have succeeded.
It's so hard to lie to you. It might have clipped off a little bit of that.
It's cool, but we're back.
But we're back. Yeah. But like, just even with our relationship though, like I couldn't hide it from you. I really couldn't. But I definitely like wholeheartedly appreciate, you just being that listening ear that we're talking about, sitting there explaining that story to you was just like, it was probably one of the first times that I really like told someone start to finish what it was. So it was definitely a lot different than, right here, right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like, even you being in a space and just receiving that and allowing, yourself to be that energy for me in that time was something that I really, really genuinely appreciated.
Absolutely.
And then also the solution oriented side, being like, yo, I got a bike, yo. You want to take a ride?
Yo,
with the
I
trees?
gave
Yo,
it time though. I gave it time.
What you want to do? What you want to do?
So I gave it time though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was I'm gonna hit you up a day later. You know what I mean? I'm gonna hit you up a day, but I'm an empath for sure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Because I think that like it's something that I'm learning to do.
Yeah.
Because I think that I'm like one of those subsection of humans who believe that I was like, oh no, I figured it out. Yeah. I can help you. Yeah. Like I have the right answers. Yeah, I'm that subset of human. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then like I've been humbled enough times in life to recognize that I'm like, the moment I start to learn new information, I recognize how much I don't actually know. And the more I don't actually know makes me like
wow.
Every time somebody goes to have a conversation with me, it's like it's a toss between like my foundational values and then like being able to kind of relate to whatever somebody's talking about. But being an empath is super important because I think, and I'm excited to even hear about the viewers too. Like if they, reach out to us on Instagram, Life We Chose Pod. Yeah. You can find us on YouTube, Life We Chose Pod, if you're listening on the audio form. And, and just talk to, if you just even just want to vent a little bit about your stories and what you guys got going on. Cause it's like, it would dramatically change the face of the world if we listened to each other. If we listen to each other, unfortunately there's also some people who would talk your ear off, so you know what I mean, you can do nothing but listen, you know what I mean. But yeah, no, that hiatus was something that definitely, do you think it was something that happened like life slowed you down, or was that a choice? Was it a conscious decision to be like, I'm gonna pull back?
I think it was two things, because I feel like life, maybe, I'm trying to think, I feel like in some ways things were good until they weren't.
Usually how it is.
But I also feel like, if things didn't necessarily change with the client, would I still be working with the client? If things didn't change, with my mom, would I ever address the family dynamic? Like I feel like being in those spaces, it's just like I was just forced to deal with some things. And you know what? As I'm talking, things happen in your brain as you talk. Yeah. I feel like maybe, I feel like life forced me to slow down, to reevaluate. I think that, I've always held a sense of my self-worth and identity in a lot of things outside of myself. If I can say the biggest takeaway for me might have been just, getting to a space of finding my value from here, and not having to search for it out there. And it took a lot of work. It's still work. It's not a process that I think I'm done with, but I think that I'm stronger in the sense of like being aware that my identity and the things that I do don't define my worth and my value right now. I think that's the biggest thing that I've taken from that. And then also just like, from the family side, that you can't control how people are. You can't, and you can only do what's best for you in relation to that situation. A lot of the guilt that I felt, in terms of like my mom not being invited to the wedding, I had to understand that I made a decision that was best for me.
Yeah.
Just given the statistics over time and our life.
Yes, watching those patterns.
Yeah. It's like you did the best thing with what you knew.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, it's unfortunate, but like it's also not all, you know, not entirely my fault.
Yeah, it isn't.
You know? And I think it's helped me learn to just accept, you know, that people are going to be people, you know, whether it's a good thing, a bad thing, or in between, they are going to be who they are. And you just have to evaluate that and how it fits into your life and be okay with the answers, because not everybody is going to be a part of your process and your life. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe life did life, you know, maybe life did life to teach me a thing or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we got, I mean, I'm not the only hiatus.
Yeah, no, I took some time.
You sure did.
I took some time. I think, you know, we've been on this journey of creative entrepreneurship for a few years now.
Yeah.
Probably when I say entrepreneurship, I really mean like that turn when it happened with Prana in 2019 to like go from, you know, our full-time jobs to like doing art for a living. Or finding ways to make money off of our art, starting our businesses, things like that.
Yeah.
And it was like it's been a wild ride.
Yes.
It's been a wild ride because it was like, you know, in a very short period of time, like not only did the pandemic happen, but we was out here like hustling.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you know, social media, I became a social media influencer.
Yeah.
I was doing things with CBS. It was like, there was a lot of, it seemed like as soon as the tide turned, the momentum started to go, you know? We had the Create Retreat, you know, a bunch of other things. And then, literally around the same time last year, I think is probably where our shift happened together, because beginning of 2022 was the trip to Dubai. Yeah. So we were in Dubai for just a little less than 2 weeks. But we went down to Dubai to do like shows and like
talk it up,
you know,
real quick.
It was cool.
Dubai
it was
quick.
we went to
step into Dubai.
You know, we
quick.
was there in the Middle East. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you. First off, not only were you doing poetry shows though, you were teaching at a college.
we had the workshops at the college. Yeah,
she had online remote workshops.
Yeah, we had the online just in case everybody needed to meet it virtually.
Let's line it up real quick.
So here's the thing. So Dubai was a very special time. Yeah. Right? And the thing about special times is that when you say to yourself, and when you have these like goals, right? Yeah. Like let's say your goal was that, I want to like have this really great client. Yeah. My goal was to be an international performer. Yes. Like the fact that somebody is like, not only I'm just about to go here, but you're going to pay me. You're going to fly me across. Yeah. I get to take my best friend with me, and like I speak words, bro, I'm here. Yeah. So it was like I expected coming out of that a lot of feelings and things that I didn't get when I got back home. Because, you know, like you can prepare, because I knew about Dubai a year in advance. So I'm like preparing and getting ready and like, you know, putting in my mind and stuff like that. But like you can get to a point and it's like you could spend an entire year to go through, you know, 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying, like, you know, you go through 4 years of high school and you walk the stage in 5 seconds. And it's like, you know what I mean? And it's like, once you get to the other side, what do you say? So it's like, you know, the 2022 was a year of me I was just doing whatever I wanted. Okay. Honestly. Like I just did. I woke up when God told me to. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I just like, I didn't have plans or agendas for the day, but like that will catch up to you. That'll catch up to you. Like I wouldn't recommend what I did to anybody. You know what I mean? I was the kind of person who would ignore a lot of my problems. You know what I mean? I still do. Yeah. Because I'm like, I have a sense of delusion. Like I have delusional faith. I have a sense of faith that's like you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like any rational being would make another choice. But like I'm like blind, you know what I mean? And sometimes that like it comes with its own like punches, you know what I mean? But I spent much of 2022 just like, you know, whether it was creating content, trying to do, you know, I had my own show, Versus and Vibes, that was fire. Like there was a lot of things that happened in between them, but I think it was probably like the end of the year.
Okay.
And it's usually around the fall time where things start to change for me.
Yeah.
Right. So anybody out there, my particular situations usually happen towards the end of the year because of seasonal depression.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll go through periods of time where I don't do the things that bring me joy throughout the week. Right. I spend a lot of time outside. I'll go hiking. I'm on the kayak. I'm biking. I'm doing so many things outside and in the sun. So as soon as that's like taken away from me is usually when things are a bit more intense.
Yeah.
So, the end of last year, I got a really big client myself. So it was like, all those financial worries that I had. I was like, oh, words. Like, you know what I mean? I'm about to be all right, So I had this client, they were in Atlanta. They flew me out there. I was like shooting content. I was doing a lot of stuff. So it was like, oh, yeah, nah, it's all great. But as soon as I got back, I just started an artist residency at the same time, too.
Yeah.
So it was like, as soon as I got back home, again, it was like, I got this residency. I got this client. And something was still like off. And in that period of like me feeling off, I ended up losing all of my social media accounts. So I lost like my Instagram, my Facebook, my WhatsApp, basically anything Meta. Yeah. You know what I mean? Anything on the Meta platform was gone. And I was already feeling resistant for something and I couldn't even really name it. So I was already feeling resistant, whatever the case may be. And it got to the point where I just was like, oh, I need to just like step away for real.
Yeah.
Like I was forced to, when it came to social media, because it's like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just broke the community guidelines and you can't talk to nobody about it. You know what I mean? I don't know what guideline I broke. I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah,
I can't.
And that's a whole nother topic. Social media is community. Their customer service center.
Is
obsolete.
I'm not gonna hold you. I got Meta verified now.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I got Meta verified now. I'm blue checked. Right?
I see that.
I'm blue checked, but I also but mainly simply because of this situation.
Wow.
Because you do not have customer service if you don't at least that's how it was like set up right now. Is that like before, when this happened last year, there was no Meta verified, so you couldn't pay to have access to a team.
Yeah.
But the fact that losing a social media account as a social media influencer is damaging.
Yeah. No,
I get the fact that we'll dive into this at another time, right? But like social media is so crucially important to the success of your business right now.
Yeah.
Like, not to say that you couldn't have a successful business without it, but if you create one online and you don't have a digital presence, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. It's losing my network. The connections that I've built both in Dubai, throughout California, throughout all the companies that I work with, CBS, like it meant a lot. So it was a bit of an identity crisis for me. I think that's kind of what I was going through. A bit of like, who am I? What am I going to do? And like, who am I in the world? How am I going to show up?
Yeah.
Because I was placing a lot of my value in what I did. And since I wasn't doing poetry or I wasn't doing art, then obviously that's not, something's wrong here,
Yeah.
So I think I went through a lot of that. So, I think that my hiatus came as a result of that.
Yeah.
So I had to like sit back and kind of chill a little bit.
What are some of the things that like you would say like in that space of an identity crisis, like what were some of the things that you were feeling like?
I think I was feeling like I wasn't doing enough. Like I wasn't doing enough, that I wasn't like I'm very goal oriented. Right.
Okay.
So like, as I was talking before, like, it's like, okay, Dubai was a goal. CBS was a goal, or Prana was a goal, or, every one of these grants and residencies I applied for, because I apply for grants and residencies, like, dozens of times a year.
Yeah.
And people don't see the ones that I don't get. They see the ones that I do get. Right. So if I've gotten, like, if you see me on social media, like, I've probably publicly got maybe like a dozen different grants and residency programs over the last like 4 years. But of that dozen, I'm applying to like 200, and it's like, I deal with rejection. Yeah, I deal with rejection on a consistent basis. And the worst thing about that is that it takes forever for you to be rejected. So it's not like in a sense where it's like, you apply to something and then you find, some things it could take you 2 to 3 months to go through a jury process to find out that you're not going to get it.
Wow.
And if you were banking, if you're trying to like, hope for that 30K or that 10K or that whatever, then it's like you have to kind of really assess your situation. So I was living life dangerously.
Wow.
Right. So I feel like it was just more so like I dealt with those feelings every single day, but it just compounded when I felt like I lost access to something that was also helping me get work.
Yeah.
Social media was how I was getting a lot of my gigs, or a lot of like the grants or the fellowships and stuff like that, which you can read about in my book, Profitable Passions. you know, but it was like, I was, just a quick plug. But you can, I was using social media to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
So when I lost it, it became like a, it was devastating in that way that I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? How am I going to solve this? And I immediately went into solutions mode. Immediately.
Really?
Yeah, immediately. But it's a mechanism, right? And it's a mechanism because I think, one, I suppress my emotions a lot.
Okay.
And then two, I don't cry often. So I don't have like that catharsis of like letting things go a lot.
Okay.
For me, it's like whenever something like it hit the fan and I was like, I'm going to do whatever I can to try to solve that problem. And for me, it became just a jolt of self-discipline. It was like, okay, I'm gonna read more. I'm gonna find a book or whatever. I'm gonna read more. And I was reading a lot, but I was like, I need to get back into like once a week. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then exercising, changing the way that I eat.
Yeah.
Fasting became a huge part of my life, and then understanding time. So I went through, like, my journey was like me trying to figure out like, what is time, and like, how am I basing what I'm doing off of that?
Is it the squirrel?
It's up at the top.
God, the squirrel is everywhere.
I'm sorry. Outside of the window is a squirrel, and this squirrel has been following us for the entire length of this podcast.
Oh, he's been active too.
But this is a very active squirrel.
Wow.
Here for the mission. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. The squirrel got me. Where was that?
Squirrel.
Yeah, that's exactly. Isn't that like I feel like that's on a TV show or
That's
movie
like
or something.
Pets or something. The movie
Yeah.
Yeah, but
no.
yeah, no.
Oh, you too. Either way,
Yeah.
I decided that it was like a lot of just taking action. So what I did was that I spent as much time as I could planting as many seeds as I could. It's just whatever I could find. You know, I plant those seeds, and it sucked because I wasn't running at my usual capacity. You know, where I was like, you know, so confident and enthusiastic and like ready to do things. Like now I was happy just to finish one thing in a week. You know what I mean? I was just like in terms of like my brand and stuff like that. But then like spending every day just saying to myself like, okay, instead of me eating, I'm going to consume new information. Instead of me like, you know, filling my body with these things that are like, you know, confusing me or giving me brain fog or slowing me down, I'm going to set myself up so that at the end of whatever like slump I'm going through, I'm going to be able to meet success. I'll be able to meet it in my best possible condition. So I think like my hiatus was more so, let me step back. So like, I'm about to be a slingshot. You know what I mean? That was like I'm like, oh, let me just,
I like that.
let me get back because I'm about to
shot this real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's kind of what it was. And it was like I think the universe set me up for that. The universe set me up for that real nicely. You know, like I ended up being a part of a company, not for too long. I was only there for a few months, but I was a part of a company that like really set me up. So I didn't have to worry about myself financially.
Yeah.
I had health insurance, so I was able to go to my therapist.
Yeah.
And it was like, it literally got me to the point where I started my next artist residency, you know, and I was doing what I love to do, by the way. So I was,
I'm
you know,
pretend I'm pressing a clap button here, right?
Yeah.
So, you see my hand here? We're going to just put the sound in.
Yeah. Nah, the universe set me up for that. But it's like now, like, you know, my hiatus happened, right? So I was gone off of social media and like kind of been isolated since November 25th of last year.
Okay.
I only remember that because like, you know, that's when I started documenting the times. Yeah. I was like, this is my 30-day goal, my 60-day goal, my, you know, this is what I need to get done in 7 days, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
But, you know, those months happen and now I'm at a point where all I want to do is create now. You know, I'm recharged. Wow. And as an extrovert, you know, as like an extrovert introvert, you have to spend some time like recharging yourself. And I think the greatest thing about what happens in these moments is this is where I'm able to learn about the things that's going to make my art. Ooh. You know, like this is the time, like there's a time where I perform the art and there's a time where the art's being created. Yeah. And when it's being created is when I'm under construction.
Yeah.
When I'm under construction, that's when the art is like, oh, this is where the things is happening.
I love that.
And now it's time for me to come out and like have this conversation with people.
And you know, a lot of times we sit there feeling like just torn up about I can't write, I don't got nothing to say, and
yeah.
like, no, your life been going a little too good for a little too long. Get in some mess a little bit.
Get something to talk about.
You
Get
know
something that people can resonate and relate with, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to, that was like, looking back at it, I wouldn't change it for the world, because it was so necessary to where I'm at right now. And I honestly don't even know if I'm outside of the hiatus.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. You know, I think that this podcast is going to be, again, a seed.
The opening, yeah.
You know, because this is what I'm saying. Like, it's like, even though we're attempting to come out of these moments of like, you know, where we're going through things and life is lifing.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're gonna plant this seed today. You know, we'll plant it next week. We'll plant another one the week after, because life is gonna keep lifing.
Yeah.
But at some point, these seeds are going to turn into flowers, and they're gonna be able to meet us in our next period of confusion, in our next period of depression, in our next period, because it's like, it's not about us trying to figure out how to cure ourselves from it.
Yeah.
It's how do we get stronger so that we're able to go through it, because life isn't going to change in that way.
Exactly. We're not building the roof for the rain today. We're building the roof for the rain.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I just felt it coming, and I was like, oh, I gotta get it out. Let me not forget it.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what we're doing.
We are building the roof for the rain tomorrow. So
yeah. So I think that's that is extremely profound. I almost still have to process it a little bit, but that's what we're doing. And I think that if anybody out there is dealing through that hiatus moment, or they feel like they don't know, you know, what to do, where to go, what direction, I can only say do something in some way. You know, and I'm not saying like your something doesn't need to be like, oh, I'm gonna do instead of 100 songs, I'm gonna do 5.
Yeah.
But I mean something in terms of like, what is it that you actually want? And if it's peace that you want, do something that brings you to peace.
Yeah.
So if it means that today all you did was go out for a walk, then you did what you needed to do to get you further to whatever that goal is.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, and I see it in both of our stories. I think that, you know, some of the best things that we did for ourselves was slow down.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that we're two people that like to move. Like you said, you felt like you weren't doing enough when things were slowing down.
Yeah.
And my way of coping with things was to do as much as possible. Like, you know, and it's like, you know, I think the nurturing part of us climbing out of these moments really was taking a second to sit down and say, okay, stop. Stop, recharge, and do the smallest thing you can do that helps you get better to being a better version of yourself. You know,
because I think that when we have our conversation about time and what that looks like for the audience, I think that when you slow down and you take that like step by step, it's like, it's hard, like it's weird that like I'm 30 years old now thinking about future Queena more than I am about like the present Queena. Which I mean sometimes is really bad, right? Because it's like if you're always living in the future, then you're kind of like on this present. Like you're not present in what's going on. But then if you're always present, then you're not probably making the best decisions for your future version of yourself. Because present Queena doesn't want to go to the gym. Present Queena wants to eat this, you know, pizza. You know what I mean? Present Queena wants to like stay up all night. You know what I mean? But I'm now going into situations where I'm thinking about future Queena. That like, what am I willing to sacrifice right now? What am I willing to endure now in order for the Queena in the future, the Queena as time passes would be able to hold on to? And I think that that's all comes down to like building better habits. You know,
much better habits.
Building better habits. And that's a really nice segue to the very first installation of our book recommendation segment. We're going to recommend you guys books because books like was a part of both of our journeys. You know, we've been listening to Audible for a very long time. You do physical books?
Once in a while. I do once in a while, but majority of the time I spend it on Audible.
Okay. So I have dyslexia and ADHD. So I'm not What? Those physical books, they do things to my brain. I can't even possibly. So I'm always listening to my audiobooks. So Audible, if you're listening. But we want to do book recommendations for you guys because we feel like if you just put in a little bit of information outside of your own, when you have new thoughts enter your mind, that's what can allow you to find solutions.
Yes.
Because it's like the thing is, when you have a problem and it circulates in your mind, you can only think about the things that you've already thought about.
Yes.
All the negatives, all the, you're going into a circle. But when you read books, you acquire new thoughts. You know what I mean? You can hear different perspectives. And when you do that, you can allow your mind to change.
Exactly. And I think that on top of that, it's like the thoughts that you have, sometimes they're missing puzzle pieces that these books can bring to you.
Yeah.
So it's like the person that you are, the way that you digest this book, even, a book that I read that you have, but depending on the moment in your life will work for you differently. Will enter and it'll reframe the way you think about something differently down to the person.
Yeah.
And so I think that, just as you continue to learn and develop and, go through your process, books can be a very strong asset to developing, just you as a whole, as a person as a whole. So, you want to get into that
so
this book
the first book recommendation we're going to do is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Atomic Habits, I believe it has to be a bestseller, right? Because I feel like a lot of people have probably checked out that book, but if you haven't, Atomic Habits is a great book for you to start understanding what does it take to create a habit. The cycle loop, right? Because human beings are 95% programming. We're computers. We are giant computers. And the thing is that we are not going to act separate from our programming. We're not going to be isolated from that. Our habits are our habits. The way that we move, the way that we act, that we respond. But Atomic Habits is a really great book if you want to kind of break down the reward, the trigger, the mechanisms that cause you to do things, because then you can start to take pieces out of that puzzle and change them so that you can then get the desired results that you want. It's a really good book if you're trying to reprogram that process. He
definitely does a great breakdown of how to start creating habits for yourself, like down to the very smallest change, and also just how to connect those habits to things that you already do that are good for you in your day. So if you know that you're getting up and you go to work at a certain time, where specifically do you place your workout, and just acknowledging that and giving it a specific time, and giving it a position in front of something you're already going to do that day, just to make sure that it gets done. But he goes into a lot more detail in terms of it. I don't want to butcher it. I think I did a
no,
job,
I think we paraphrased quite well.
So
we paraphrased quite well. So that's going to be our book recommendation. You should definitely check out Atomic Habits by James Clear. We'll put that in the show notes and also in the YouTube description so you guys can check that out. And check out that book because that's going to be super, super awesome.
All right, so for this part of the show, we kind of want to take some time to shout out, somebody a part of our community who's been like inspiring to either ourselves or just, others within the community. I think I already said his name. I want to take this time to shout out Butterfly Haus.
Shout out to Butterfly Haus.
Yeah, man. Amazing artist, amazing friend. And I personally want to thank you for just being there, being present, and just being a listening ear, throughout my journey, allowing me to share that with you. And I know it was heavy stuff, I walked in, and that's another conversation we should have. But, walking into a room with weight for somebody else, so I had to, on my way, hit him up and say, hey, this is a different one.
This is a different one.
This is a different one.
I'm not light and jovial today.
But him, even just, opening up to that and being welcoming to that and letting me in and, just being a listening ear and like I said, a really good friend. In that moment. So Butterfly Haus, I thank you to you. He also has a podcast, so be sure to check it out. We'll put it down in the show notes.
Yes, the Butterfly Haus podcast.
Yes. Be sure to check it out. Flowers.
We also do these other things, right? And this is something that started with me last year, and I think this will be really helpful to the folks out there. And we call this the 3 Bs, right? And the 3 Bs stands for your brain, your body, and your brand. or your business, however you want to refer to that last B. But that means that every single day we do something that is going to help and assist our brain, our body, and our business so that we can start to become the people that we want to see in the world, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to be focused on making sure that I work out every single day. My goal right now is to do a fast. I'm in the middle of fasting right now, so
nice.
I'm not going to say how many days because I don't know if I'll succeed. So I'm going to go through a fasting period right now. And then for the business, I'm here with you. I'm here trying to do this podcast. We're going to shoot a few episodes just so that we get some content out.
Yes, definitely. So brain, you did brain?
Brain, I'm reading.
Okay. All right, cool. I love that. Yeah, I think I think we're pretty similar in terms of like, you know, what we got going on. I took a little hiatus from from working out. So I want to definitely spend this week getting back into the workouts. You know, getting the body right. I think for the brain, probably some reading. I'm currently in a digital marketing course, so I'll probably be taking some courses in that. Actually getting my property and casualty license, so I'll be taking some courses for that as well. Yeah, I got a couple of things going on. Yeah, for the business it's this. I don't know where it cut off, so you know.
Yeah, okay.
I just want to reiterate. For the business, we here. Life We Chose Pod, man.
Yep. So for every single one of you out there who's listening, or if you're in the YouTube comments, please comment down below and let us know what 3 things you're going to do to help your brain, your body, and your business so that you can get a step closer to the person that you want to become. So you could go ahead and put that in the comments below. If you don't have comments and you're on Spotify or, you know, wherever you listen to podcasts, be sure to give this podcast 5 stars. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Share it with a friend.
Share with a friend, because I think we have some really interesting conversations about some of the trials and tribulations of being creative entrepreneurs.
For sure.
Especially from the pace of people who just we're literally hustling.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of followers on social media, and you know, we don't have like a major backing from anybody.
No.
But you know, we have been able to find ways to make this thing work.
100%.
So, if you guys are interested in hearing more about that, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast Life We Chose.
Life We Chose.
Appreciate you guys.
Love you.
Yeah, this is the life that we chose. All about goals, all about getting to go. Pedal to metal, we drove. Head to the hills, I wanna get me a boat. 2020 be the vision, depicted the growth. Before I could get on the road, look at the level she rose.